Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out when there are other sporting activities and maybe other things that may attract your attention, but we appreciate your being here. Promise you'll be home for the second half of the Knicks game, unless you ask a lot of questions, but that's on you, not on me. No, we encourage all questions. So we're excited to be with you to share where we've been over the past year, where we see ourselves going in the year ahead, to hear from you about your thoughts, your questions, what's on your mind. We have some very interesting and wonderful presentations to be able to share because it's been such a great year. Before we get started, I wanted to just introduce you to somebody that you've seen her work, but you may not know who is behind it, Naquana Howard, who joined us a couple months ago. You may have talked to her on the phone. The e-blast is at least partly her handiwork, and so you're familiar with that. And she's already a wonderful member of our community, and look forward to continuing to work with her. So we're going to start off with our rabbi giving us a presentation about the year that has been.
No, I'm going to use this mic. Good evening. Any teacher knows that putting up photos while you talk means you only have half the attention. But I want you to look at these photos. They speak more than my words. The faces of our congregational family, individual, couples, parents, and kids, multiple generations, each embracing the moment of writing a letter in the Torah. See the intense interest in their eyes, the smiles that come easy to the face, the connection to the text, the teachings of our scribe, the act of creating something new and wonderful as part of the Reform Temple of Forest Hills, as part of being Jewish. For our 30th anniversary, we embraced Torah. There were many ways we could have focused on 3 decades of this synagogue. At past landmark celebrations, we looked backward, where we came from, how we came to be. This year reflected who we are and where we go from here. Who we are is embedded in the core teaching of Pirkei Avot. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. On 3 things does the world stand. Al ha'torah va'al ha'avodah va'al gemilut chasadim. Loosely translated, on Torah, on faith, and on making the world a better place. Those are the values that are at the heart of our congregation. 30 years past, right now, and into tomorrow. Torah is our learning in our dynamic religious school, teen learning, and adult education, which this year all had a special focus on Torah. Our faith means we have that moment of calm each week at Shabbat. We pass throughout the year and pause to reflect, share joy, and contemplate our world at each of the holidays. We recognize the transitional moments of life cycle, celebratory, painful, and memorable. Making the world a better place gives meaning to our actions, from temple-wide events such as Mitzvah Day to how we treat each person with welcome, care, and respect. Those pillars always need a 4th one, Kehillah, community. We come together as a congregation because we draw strength from each other. Lifelong friendships are made here. Support, love, concern, caring, inspiration, and hope are found in each other's eyes and hearts. RTFH is a special place and worth celebrating. 30 years is a notable achievement, whether you've been here since before the merger, along the way, or just joined. This is our congregational family where we laugh, learn, pray, party, comfort, celebrate, help, and hope together. Torah, faith, improving the world, and community define this community. And writing a Torah was the perfect way to celebrate 3 decades together. We learned that writing a letter in the Torah completes the 613th commandment. The Torah has 304,805 letters. Every one of those we learned is needed to complete a Torah. Without that letter, the Torah is not complete. Family after family fulfilled that commandment and helped us complete our Torah. It isn't just all the letters we need, it's every person. every family, every individual makes our temple more vibrant, engaging, and special. Every one of you has added your own story to our congregation, and without you, we wouldn't be the vibrant community we are. On Shavuot this Sunday and Monday, we recognize the giving of the Torah to the Jewish people. Our tradition holds that every one of us stood at Sinai, both the Israelites at the time and all the Jewish souls to come. Every living soul is the letter of the Torah, wherefore all souls taken together make up the Torah, taught Rabbi Nathan Sternhatz of Nemirov. Every soul of this community is what makes RTFH worth celebrating and growing. We will welcome our new Torah on the evening of Simchat Torah, Monday, October 13th at 7 p.m. It won't be a symbolic item to put on a shelf, but a living, breathing part of our temple's world. We'll start using it right away. We'll read from it that night. Our B'nai Mitzvah will chant from that Torah each week. It will be our regular Torah, the one we created here at RTFH, each and every one of us. On the screens are the faces of some of our temple families. This is only a selection of the photos and only a slice of our temple community. We are a community built out of love, kindness, and giving. Cantor Pincus leads us with beauty and wisdom. Our staff works hard each day to make temple run smoothly and effectively. Our lay leaders give of their insight and dedication to build a better tomorrow. The Torah Project needed dozens of volunteers at each step. In all areas of RTFH, congregants share the generosity of spirit in making the temple thrive. Each of you stood at Sinai and now make our Torah today. The physical Torah we wrote and the Torah of kindness, generosity, and commitment that you bring to RTFH. Our Torah represents our Jewish past and history and the 30 years of RTFH that led us to this moment. It has been created by these beautiful souls on the screens. And if you didn't see yourself, it's coming in a later photo. We'll show you later. And we'll use this Torah for generations to come. The world stands on four things: Torah, faith, making the world a better place, and community. But really it stands on every single individual, in the light and smile of each face, representing all we have been and all we will be. Thank you for the honor of being your rabbi. It is a gift I cherish every day.
Thank you, Rabbi. We don't always get to applaud the Rabbi for the wonderful work he does because it's not something we do on Shabbat, but let's give another round of applause for the Rabbi. So thank you. It has been a wonderful year, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the work that we've been doing over the past year and also now where we see ourselves going in the year ahead. And one of the things that I know has been on a lot of your minds, that we've talked a lot about at this meeting and other meetings, is our home and where we're going to be. Okay. And I am happy to say that after a lot of thought and a lot of research and a lot of discussion, we believe that the best place for us in this moment is to be right here in our current home. Now, we come to that decision not lightly, and for those of you who've been at these meetings over the past years or have talked to us in other settings, you know that there's been a lot of back and forth and struggle on this issue, and we've looked at a lot of options. We are staying here not by default, not because we feel like we have to, it's because we want to, and we think it is the best home for us that gives us the best place in the community and the most important location to continue the wonderful work that we do. Now, how did we get here? First of all, as I said, it's not because of lack of trying. We have many people who would like to use this space for other projects, for other kinds of real estate uses. We continue to get calls all the time from real estate developers. Just in the last month, I have personally gotten 3 different calls from real estate developers wanting to buy this space, buy the location, the land from us, and they're very interested. but none of them have presented to us something that I think, or the board thinks would work for us. They all have talked about different locations for us to move to, and we've been up and down Queens Boulevard looking at places where they have presented us to. The building going up on Tower, where the Tower Diner site used to be, some of you may know that, people wanted to put us in the basement in that building. On the other side of Queens Boulevard, a little further down, there's another building that's either open or about to open. The developer there offered to put us on the 5th or 6th floor of that building. Others have had other locations that they've wanted to move us to. Some have said that they would buy the space and allow us to come right back here after it was built, obviously. The problem with that is we needed to find some home in the interim. And we have also combed the entire borough of Queens looking for what could be an alternative space that would work for us. We've been as far west as the Boulevard building, as some of you know that, near LaGuardia Airport. We've been out to Queens College to look at that space, and every place in between. We may have been to some of your homes, you know. Could you have 100 people in your living room with some cookies out in the kitchen after on Fridays? Would that be okay? And we haven't found a space that works for us. This location, from a community point of view, from a walking point of view, from a safety point of view, is really perfect for our community. And so none of those options work. And so we have told the various people that we are not interested in those approaches, that we think that this is the best place. Now, some of you could say, well, you put us through a lot. Why did you do all that over these past years? Some of you may have children, may have been worried about the B'nai Mitzvah locations. Others may have just been worried. I will tell you that this building and this location, not really the building, but the land, is now a tremendously valuable asset. Because of the work that was been done by some of the people in this room, Henry Gold and Andy Kimmler, Leor Evans, whose picture was up there before, Jerry Ball, Neil Rosenblatt, the rabbi was very involved. To get this land rezoned, this land is now worth far more than it was before we started this process. This will continue to be a very valuable asset as long as people want to live in New York City. There will always be a developer who's interested in buying this property. There will always be a significant price that somebody is willing to pay for it. So while this location is the best for us in this moment, if we decide in a few years or many years that for whatever reason it's not working out, there will be options. So we should all be extremely grateful for the hard work that was done, supported by our city council person. We had to go before the entire city council of the city of New York to get it done, but it got done, and we have created, besides the wonderful community that we have, the most valuable tangible asset, except I guess besides our Torahs, is the land that this building is on. And it's worth a lot of money, and it's something that if at some point a different decision needs to be made, it'll always be an option. Now, because we're staying here, our work is not done. This is a very old building. Those of you who've suffered through winter services when the heat wasn't working, or summer services when the air conditioning wasn't working, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So we must, as a congregation, continue to invest in this building. There are things that need to be done. Any of you who own homes or grew up in a home know that as a homeowner, there's always things that need to be addressed. Not always the most fun things, not always the beautiful new kitchen or bathrooms. They could be things in the foundation or things behind the scenes or piping. All of those things are true here. Last year, we replaced the HVAC for this part of the building, and the thing that came down was like held together with chewing gum and rubber bands. It was so old and so rickety and been repaired so many times. We got a brand new HVAC system for here. Costs a lot of money, $50,000 I think maybe even a little more, to be able to do that. So there are investments we need to make in the foundation, in the windows, in the structure of this building to be able to allow us to stay here. You will see when Jill presents the budget, we have allocated money for that. And as we talk and go back into a more traditional fundraising mode for the year ahead, some of the money that we raise will also be devoted to those uses because it's very important. Now, we just don't want to put all the money we have in things you can't see because that wouldn't be so much fun as a congregation. We do want to invest in making the building nicer in ways that you can see. And we've already started to do that. A lot of things that you may not notice. For example, the rug that you walked over when you came into the building was really old and worn, and it's now new. And so when you leave, you can look down at the black rug and you'll see it looks probably a little scuffed up already, but it's a month or so old. We've replaced, I think the flags we're about to replace or we're going to replace. We're going to, the couches, right? There's some furniture in the rabbi and the cantor's office. The couches downstairs were delivered a week or two ago. The exit sign in the garden room has been replaced or modified. We're looking at lots of different things. We want to get the audiovisual system a little better. We're lucky to be able to have this, but it's a rickety system. And we want the services and the other programs we do here to be engaging for everyone here, but everyone at home. And so we could use an audiovisual system that doesn't have wires hanging out of it that we have to worry about people tripping over, that can work, and that doesn't require as much time and investment from the rabbi and Andy and Juan to set up every time, so that's a priority. The other priority, or a real priority also, is accessibility. I know when we talked about coming in and moving from this building, the accessibility was very important to people here. You may also have loved ones who can't get into the, can't handle the steps, either up or down, or you were worried at a future B'nai Mitzvah or some other event, if you had a grandparent who was coming, that they wouldn't be able to do that. The ultimate solution we would love to be able to do is an elevator, but an elevator is very, very expensive. Just to give you a visual sense of it, the elevator would probably mean one of the two staircases that go down from here, we would have to tear up and put an elevator sort of on that location going up and down. It's probably a $300,000 project, and it might even be more when they got into it. Our entire budget is $1.3 or $1.4 million. So that would be 20% of our budget. We can't afford to do that this year, but we're not going to give up on that. You will see, and Jill will talk about this, one of the positions we've allocated in the budget is a grant writer. First time we've ever really hired a professional grant writer. We've relied on congregants to do grants, but there's a real expertise and knowledge that comes with getting especially very competitive grants. So we've hired someone who's really good at grant writing, and one of the grants we intend to pursue is for an elevator, so we can make this more accessible. There also may be some congregants who can help us and through their generosity, and so we're not saying we will not do the elevator, we're just saying we can't do it now. But we don't want to leave the accessibility alone, because we know that is so important to so many people. So right now, you know, we have the chair that goes up. That's also got its own struggles. It's 20 years old. It's out of the parts are not made anymore. The company doesn't maintain it, all those things. And it doesn't go down to the lower level. So there's an immediate accessibility problem. So we have ordered, and we'll be here sometime over the summer, right, in July, I think, maybe even June, a new a new chair system that goes both up to this level and down. It'll make a stop and then go down to the low. It's not an express because we didn't, if we could only get an elevator that could come up here, we wanted to be able to continue to use the chair system to get down to the lower level. So we didn't want to get one continuous one, we got two, we ordered two separate ones. So even that is a significant project. It's over $20,000, I think, something like that. But it'll be a huge improvement, and I think a statement of our welcoming and our intention to make this building and the importance of that issue to our congregation. So some of you we may not see all summer. Hopefully that's not the case for all of you. But whenever, if you come back for Rosh Hashanah services, that chairlift will be here, and it'll allow for greater access to services and programming for the year ahead, which is very important for all of us. So we're very, very excited we can do that. It's a very important initial investment we're making. So those are the sort of the combination of things that we're going to have to do. Some things that you won't see with heating and air conditioning, with infrastructure, but that need to be done because it's an aging building, and some things that you will see, like the chairlift, like hopefully the audiovisual, like some of the other appearance issues in the building. All of them, I hope, will make this building continue to be comfortable, to maybe modernize it to a little bit, and to make it continue to be the vibrant and wonderful community that we have. And you may also be saying, what changed? How can we be in a position to do this when just a few years ago we couldn't, and we were really thinking we were on our last legs? I say there's a few things that drove us and to be in this wonderful position where we have options, where we don't have to rely on a developer who wants to put us in a place that we're not happy about, or in a location where we're going to suffer members, or any of those kinds of things. First, we have a wonderful congregation. You here, you watching at home, we're incredibly grateful to have so wonderful and engaged people who continue to respond, who continue to want to support our congregation, and we have asked you to do more financially, and you have always responded. I know it's been hard for some, and we've tried to accommodate, but our congregation has responded both in terms of continuing to be a strong presence in our programming and continue to come to services and other events, and continue to support the congregation financially, even as we've asked you to do more. That's very important. Second, we have a wonderful rabbi and Cantor. Cantor is here somewhere? Yes, Cantor's here. We heard from the rabbi. You can't have a great congregation without wonderful clergy, and we have the best. They continue to lead us through very difficult times for all of us, make the services vibrant, accessible, warm for everybody. Our religious school continues to grow. We're running out of Saturdays to accommodate B'nai Mitzvahs. If somebody, didn't one of the Roman emperors put an extra month in there or something like that? We may need to do that just to accommodate all the B'nai Mitzvah we have, but it's a wonderful problem to have. So our religious school is overflowing. We have wonderful attendance, higher than ever at services, and that's in large part because of the wonderful clergy that we have. Number three, and this is also very important, we have a great school partner. We started this year renting space to a Montessori school. One of our congregants has actually took a business venture to us and said they'd like to establish a school in the classroom space downstairs that sits unused largely during the week. And we were able to work out a deal, so they started to rent the space. They started with 4 classrooms because they weren't sure what enrollment would be. Now they're using the entire space. They have a summer program that will continue over the summer, and they expect even more enrollment coming the next year. That gives us, in addition to being very wonderful for the community, for those of you who have preschool children, it's a wonderful option to be able to do. We're helping a congregant, which is great too, but financially, it gives us a huge boost. And so that allowed us to be able to look at the world a little bit differently, knowing that we have a tenant that is paying us a lot of money for the space. And we're about to, we haven't signed anything, but we've started negotiations on a 10-year lease with them. So they are very confident that this will continue to be a good location for them to have a school. I'm told that this community is underserved with preschools, and we found a similar situation when we were looking for available space. We couldn't find any for a school, so there were certainly seems to be a dearth of options, and it worked out to be great for the Montessori school and great for us. Fourth, you'll hear from her in a minute, we have a wonderful treasurer and a great finance committee. It takes a lot to manage the budget here, to keep track of it all. It may not be news to any of you that you're not the easiest people always to when it comes to money, and they got to put up with all of that. And they've done it beautifully, kept the books going, and also, very importantly, made sure that the contribution amount is fair to everyone. We did have some issues in the past where some people were not always paying a fair amount given their income and their circumstances. They've addressed that. Now anyone who needs the help, who can show that they need the help, gets it, and others are able to pay the contribution amount. They've been able to do that in a way that's compassionate and fair and equitable to all of us, and so that is wonderful. And then finally, we have great temple leadership. We have a board that is dedicated that works hard, that has the congregation's interests in mind. I thank you. We'll hear the votes, but I think you've elected a new trustee. I saw her, Nicole Fetter, who's going to be a great addition to the board, and thank you for supporting Nicole and the other board members. And our board is incredibly dedicated, works very hard, and that's also one of the keys. So having a wonderful congregation, great clergy, a great partner in our religious school, wonderful finance staff, and great temple leadership. Those are the elements that allow us to look at the world and decide to do things a little differently than we had in the past. Any one of those not in place, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be talking about moving out because we couldn't make it work. But with all 5 of those in place, we have the right formula to be able to stay here and continue to have a wonderful home and a wonderful community right here. Now, I will say, in closing, and you probably want me to shut up already, but I know that as wonderful as it is within these 4 walls, the world outside is a difficult one this time, not this time of year, now. And that's hard for all of us. And I am hoping that one of the things that we can provide as a temple and as a community is a refuge from all of that, to allow you all to lean into community. Because we can't change the world outside. There's so many other forces going on, it's very hard for any of us to influence that. But what we can do is support and help one another during these very difficult times. Margaret Renkel, who's a writer for the New York Times, she wrote a piece recently about why she got vaccinated at 63, and it was about the importance of supporting community by getting herself vaccinated for measles. And in that piece, she said that being a part of a community, whatever you believe, whoever you are, brings with it the obligation to support and care for one another, and together to work to build a better community. We together can build a better community that will help us in these very difficult times. I hope that you here and those people at home will come and continue to support us. Some of you may love to come to Friday night services and belt out a Don Olam or Lachad Odi louder than the cantor. That's wonderful. Some of you may be able to support us financially. That's great too. Some of you may find community in social action, or in coming to Torah study, or in participating in the Torah project. There are even some people stupid enough to be a temple president. Whatever your passion, we need you. We need all of you. In these particularly difficult times, it's only through all of us being a part of it that we can have that community that we can lean on and get us through these next years and the years ahead. So I urge you all to continue to be involved, and let's allow our neighbor to lean on us so that we can lean on them, and together we can continue to have a wonderful community. So thank you, and it's now my pleasure. Oh, thank you. And now our great treasurer, Jill, is going to talk about some of the numbers.
Boy, and now I have to follow Seth. This is not fun. And I have the terrible job of talking about numbers after going after Seth. Well, hi, I'm Jill Manis, the treasurer of RTFH. And while today's meeting will focus on the future of planning for next year, we're thrilled to report on the results of this wonderful Torah project, Building Community One Letter at a Time. It melted all our hearts, and it melted my heart. One of the most unique and powerful aspects of this project was that more than 25 members quietly stepped forward as mitzvah makers, anonymously sponsoring others so that everybody who wanted to participate could do so. Their generosity became contagious, sparking a wave of giving that reflected the very soul of our congregation. Overall, 173 congregants, representing 74% of our congregation, and their beautiful families wrote a letter in our new Torah. We earned $275,000 through dedications for the RTF Torah, resulting in a profit of $165,000 with 5-day-long events. And on Monday, October 13th, Simchas Torah, please join us to celebrate this new Torah. This is really truly amazing for a temple of our size. But we are all aware, as Seth told us, We have an aging building, and we have a lot of work to do. We're going to be spending a lot of time doing research of what we have to do to repair our building, and we're going to spend time refurbishing our building, and there's lots of money in our budget to do so. Let me see the next. So, next slide. Okay. We're happy to say that, again, for the second year in a row, we have a balanced budget, thanks to our congregation. Our current year ends June 30th, and we are projecting a slight profit of $15,000. Based on what everybody hears in the news, I'm also happy to report that our investments are strong. We're reaching almost $1.6 million compared to last year. We have a nice increase in our reserves of almost $200,000. We have a healthy blend of money market, bonds, and stocks, and our portfolio never reacts much to volatility. Next slide. Tomorrow, you'll receive in your email an annual membership contribution statement for the next year. And you'll see an annual modest increase of 2.5% increase. This will translate to $94 if you're a family and $47 if you're a single member, for example. These are just a few select categories. But if anybody needs assistance, as we've done in the past, you'll see an application with your statement, and there'll be instructions. Please send it to me or Alan Huberman. There'll be budget forms that could be found on the members-only site. The rate information could also be found on the website under Religious School Learn or on the membership site under Join. This increase is about $30,000 in under the temple revenue, or $8,000 for Religious School. We also, as Seth talked about, Melville Montessori will bring in incrementally about $127,000 of incremental revenue. And for the first time in many, many years, we've decided to increase our room rental fees by 25%, which will bring in $8,000. Other key assumptions in revenue are contributions. We don't have, the fantastic Torah project this year, so we're reverting back, as we always have, to Kol Nidre, and we're going to be charging again for, our fun, various fundraising events that we haven't yet decided what to do, but we'll have various fun things to do. And we have to remember that our annual contributions and licensing fees and religious school fees only cover 73% of our revenue. We're going to try to get more grants. Right now, we only have $5,000 from our city council, but we're going to be tenacious and we're going to try to do it. And yes, we hired for the first time a professional fundraiser. Next slide. So in our budget, we're more creative this year, and in support of our religious school and property building areas, we're taking this modest increase that we have for the 2.5%, and we put it back into the religious school based on suggestions from our finance committee. We want to be able to retain and recruit new teachers by increasing their minimal salaries. We added for the first time a pre-K class, and we have already 8 enrollees for this new class. We're really excited about this, and we had to add a new teacher. We also had to add a 4th grade instructor due to our growing enrollment. We had already this year 28 enrollments, and we have another 8 enrollments for a pre-K class. And beyond that, the religious school, we added $10,000 for this new grant writer. I was also able to put in about $27,000 for building and property issues that we never had before. So we could do some research on the building, that needs further attention. Next. So with the last slide, allow me a personal reflection on RTFH as a caring community, because this was really something that was absolutely mind-blowing for me, and I think for Lois Silverman and Rabbi. We did 3 home visits with the Sofer, Rabbi Kazman, and Lois Silverman, and our professional photographer, Emma Van Bergen, and it was just incredible. Some of you might have remember Pauline Kurtzman. She taught Hebrew to countless congregants, and she now has dementia. And when we brought the Torah to her, she came alive. You would not know anything was wrong with her. She's in the upper right-hand corner. And Jane Levy, who's in the bottom right-hand corner, is almost 100. And she was full of conversation, and she was amazing. And Elaine Walsh, who was in the upper left-hand corner, attended Torah study every Saturday and was homebound. And her children were in Israel, or and still are in Israel, but she died the following week after we visited her. And all of us were in tears. And we spent the morning just visiting these three people. And the Sofer said he never did home visits with a Torah before. And it was just mind-blowing. So thank you. The budgets and forms are on the members-only site. You could call me or Alan or email me. I will send them to you if you have any problems. I thank Alan Hoberman, who's my partner in crime, and the finance committee. They're so fantastic. We have wonderful work sessions all the time, and thank you, because without you, we wouldn't be where we are. Thanks.
Thank you, Jill, for tonight and for all the work you did. And who's here on the finance committee? I know Dan and Michael, Jason. Yeah, so we have a few. Henry, so thank you also for it. I know Jill always stresses that it's a group effort, so thank you all for that. And I should say to everybody and to the people who are watching at home, or if you're watching from Madison Square Garden, wherever you're watching, we will have opportunity for questions. We just wanted to do all the presentations first, and then we will take as many questions and stay for as long as people want to talk about whatever's on your mind. So next, one of the vital parts of our community is our WOCO, our Women's Connection. You may be familiar, if you've ever had a cookie after services, that's part of WOCO's work because they handle the own eggs every Friday, but they do so much more than that in terms of educational program, social program. If any of you were at a great bingo event that we had in March, that was a WOCO event, and there's so much more. So we're lucky to have them as a wonderful part of our community, and Rebecca Carbonaggi is here to talk a little bit about some of the WOCO work.
Hello. Pardon me, I'm not as good at Seth. I'll drop something if I'm holding in both hands. I'm going to stand here. Hi, I'm Rebecca Carbonaggi. I am the secretary on the executive board this year of Communication for Women's Connection. Women's Connection is an intergenerational community of women united by a shared commitment to Judaism and the spirit of connection. Together, we grow, give, and celebrate through learning, meaningful friendships, engaging programs, and acts of tzedakah that reflect our Jewish values. We support many initiatives and activities at RTFH. This year, WOCO has made a special effort to create connections within our temple community. We partnered with the Parents Association to bring you newer events like bingo night and wine and cheese in the sukkah. We invited our younger daughters into the mix by bringing an Instagram influencer to come and make jewelry with us. We also partnered with Toffee this year for a few events, and they did an excellent job. And finally, you know what they say, the family that seders together stays together. And so we did that too on the second night of Passover. We hope to bring our temple family more of these opportunities in the year to come. I'm sure you're familiar with at least some of our annual initiatives, Honey from the Heart, New Year's cards, Shalach Manot, and Birthday Connection. Your continued participation has helped keep our college students close through the College Connection and celebrated our B'nai Mitzvah students with Kiddush cups. And of course, no Friday night, Shabbat, is complete without those nibbles and noshes and cookies that allow us to stay current on all that's happening. Who's getting married? Who's engaged? We have to debate which version of the Cinderella story we're getting from the Knicks this year. Right now it's looking good, people. And we're going to keep up with the general comings and goings that really make up the days of our lives. All of the best things that we do together. And this year, through the generosity of the RTFH congregation, Women's Connection has contributed well over $30,000 towards the Reformed Temple of Forest Hills funds, community building, and temple activities. Thank you. Your membership matters. Your engagement makes a difference. Every time you purchase a ticket to one of our programs, you support initiatives that benefit us all. Every birthday connection dollar, every Oneg sponsorship, and every Hanukkah latke goes towards something that you can be proud of and you get to be a part of. Together, we can celebrate our shared Jewish values and continue to challenge the status quo and engage in the activities and programs that bring us together. This year, WOCO wants to continue to expand and broaden our membership within these temple walls and dig deeper into our intergenerational connections. Thank you for your participation and your continued support. We are excited and proud to be part of the RTFH community, and we love what we do. You can always find out more about Women's Connection or any of our events by checking the website, calling the office, or simply reaching out to any other member. We hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Rebecca. And in addition to Rebecca, we have a few other people from the WOCO leadership here. Who are they? Jamie? Oh, okay, member. Okay, well, that's probably everybody. All right, so we have lots of people here from WOCO. So thank you all for doing that and for all your work you did. And I might have missed some of the finance committee people, and they're such a vital part of our congregation. I want to make sure Fred Pagan, Michael Katz, Henry Gold, Dan Waskow, anybody else, and then of course Jill. So thank you. Oh, Gina. Okay, I'm sorry, Gina. I didn't see your hand. Okay, so thank you all for that. Okay, so now we're happy to take questions, comments of any type. Why don't we start if there's anybody? Nobody online has anything. Okay, anybody? Okay, great job. Okay, yeah.
I had a question just with what Jack said. I just didn't the number. Did she say that 182 kids have already registered for religious school for next year?
No, I don't think so because we just opened it and it's, I don't know. Alan, do you know how many young children or children have registered for religious school so far?
I don't have an exact amount. I think about 30-something, if I'm mistaken, but I'm not sure.
And just to give you a sense, I think our religious school had about 120 kids, 128 this year, and that was an increase from, yeah. So it's about 250 households, 256. And one of the things we've done over the past year is we've had some people who were officially households but had not been involved and engaged, had moved away. And so our number of congregation of households may have gone down a little bit, but that doesn't reflect the true membership because the true membership is the number now, the 256 people who are actively engaged and paying dues and doing the other things. Yeah.
Related to that, so do we have any categories for, say, out-of-city and out-of-state members?
Yeah, there is an out-of-state, or I don't know exactly what it's called, out-of-town membership, I think it's called, that has a different membership rate and I think has most of the benefits of in-town membership, but comes without high holiday tickets, I think is what the rule is.
407. Yes, we have a non-resident rate of 407.
Okay. Anything else, Steve? That was it. Did you? Yeah.
So on this issue of staying here, does the board intend to hire an architectural or engineering firm to do a full assessment of all our needs? Because I think you're way underestimating them.
Yeah, and you're right, that is a...
Works for about 25 years.
Okay, yeah, Jill?
We did a feasibility study that they did a short-term needs, immediate needs, and over 20 years. So yes, we have that, and we have to engage more research of what the short-term needs are. So yes, we have that.
Are you willing to share the 20-year need number with us?
Yes, it's $2 million.
Yeah. Right, so It doesn't have to be done all at once. It can be done over time, and that gives us the ability to space our investments and to be able to stay. Yeah.
One of the questions is, will the BEMA be more accessible?
Labima, yes, that is certainly on our list. Rabbi, I know you had some ideas on how to do that. You want to?
As we look to accessibility, luckily it's not a very high BEMA, so we will look to adding the accessibility by adding at least a ramp to the BEMA, and then we'll explore other options as we make do. We have to put it all together, the BEMA and the AV and everything, to make sure things aren't on top of each other. But we do want to make sure that anybody can get up to the ARC no matter what their circumstances are.
Thank you. Others? Jason, yeah?
So I recall, I think it was April 2020, we actually voted as a congregation whether to proceed with the redevelopment. A long time has passed. Is the plan that we have to do that as a reauthorization, or does that stand the board to do it once?
Yeah, I don't think there's any requirement. Do you have any thoughts? Oh, we voted, I think it was right pre-COVID, about pursuing the redevelopment. And do we need a further vote now that we're not doing that to sort of, no, because the board has.
The vote at that time was to figure out what the sentiment of the temple was. The board heard what the sentiment was, and we acted upon it. But nothing was ever finalized in that regard. And there's nothing that legally requires us to go back to the membership to ask whether or not you want to stay. That's the board's recommendation and decision based upon its review of everything that Seth summarized. There's no place else for us to go.
There's no place like home, as somebody once said. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the question is more if in 5 years the board says like, oh, we should do redevelopment again, will there be another vote to check the pulse of the congregation?
Yes, I'm sure. I can't. Presumably in 5 years there'll be somebody else standing up here talking to you. And so but yes, I would think whoever, the temple leadership at that moment, it's such a momentous decision for the congregation. I hope that one of the things that I've been able to deliver over these past years is transparency on what we were thinking, what the options were, and where our head was as we pursued them. And I'm hoping that whoever continues in the leadership positions will have that same commitment. So yes, coming to you, you won't just come up on Friday at 7 o'clock and see a sign at the door, we've moved. And, it'll be, we'll have some discussion. Yes, it's extensive discussion. Yes.
Another question is, will the increase of our dues help the elevator?
So the increase of the dues help the elevator. So as I said, the elevator is a very, very significant expense. You saw the budget for the year ahead is 1.5 million, I think, right? Something like that? 1.6, okay. The elevator, as I said, the initial estimates are $300,000. Now, as Steve probably could tell you, once they started getting in and tearing things up, it might even be more than that, because there's, of course, electrical work involved, construction work involved, and all the rest. We can't afford to do that within the regular confines of our budget and have all the other programming. In order to be able to do the elevator, we have to get more funds into the picture. And so that's going to hopefully be some grants that we'll be able to do. We're not just going to be, we're not asking for an elevator in itself. Of course, we're asking to make this a more accessible, more open congregation, and that, I think, is a very valuable and attractive project for funders. We also have some community members who are very generous, who've said, I would be willing to contribute to help the temple be more accessible. And so we will be going back to them to say, okay, we're ready in this moment to now move on that. Let's see what we can get. So it'll probably be some combination of some increased funds for fundraising and some grants, but we need to get more money into the pie to be able to do that because it's such a significant investment. Yeah.
Will there be an assessment in order to help raise funds?
No, we don't think so. We don't plan that. We have enough. That was the presentation Jill did based on the contributions with the steady but modest increases we've had, and also being very careful on our expenses, and the fact that we have a tenant. That gives us enough money to be able to pay our expenses. So we don't anticipate any other assessments. We, of course, will be doing fundraising throughout the year, particularly on Kol Nidre and some of the other wonderful events, concerts, and other programs we have, which bring in additional money. And Congregation has always been generous around those, but we don't anticipate any mandatory assessments. We're very conscious of the fact that money is tight for a lot of people, for most people. And so we try and manage our budget very frugally and provide the programming that's so important to all of us. Yeah.
Have there been discussions on any initiatives to help increase membership?
Yes. Rabbi, did you want to speak to that?
Next year, we're going to have a rabbinic intern, which we used to have more than 15 years ago in our temple. And Jules Ilian is going to be our rabbinic intern next year. And one of the programs she's going to be developing is a 20s and 30s program, especially for people who are don't have kids in religious school, people single, no children, very young children. And so that's one area that we think will grow into membership. It won't be immediate, but we hope by connecting with people who normally don't find their connection into a synagogue community, they don't see where their place is, that will lead towards people continuing to want to be part of our community and growing as membership. So that's a distinct thing we're already planning for next year, and we're always looking for more ideas to do it. Well, part of our problems with all things is we don't have extra hours lying around for somebody to do something. So if we're going to do more, it generally means bringing in new staff, which has a cost to it, or more significant volunteer hours from our already very heavily volunteered congregation. But we're always looking for new membership ideas. But this is one concrete thing, our 20s and 30s program.
And wasn't there a Astoria group or something of young adults? Didn't you make a connection with a young, you want to just mention that? There was a Wandering Jews, right? So that's an example of a group that they're young 20s in Astoria or something like that? Astoria, right, that they were looking maybe to connect to us. And so that would be an example of a membership opportunity that we'd like to be able to explore, and our new rabbinic intern might be able to help us develop further. Yeah.
Can we do a project like our Torah project to help for accessibility?
Well, it's a possibility. I think it's something to think about. You know, the Torah project was a huge effort, both in volunteer time, and everybody was very generous. I don't think it's fair or realistic to be able to go back to the congregation and ask everyone to give at the same level that they gave this year for next year, but maybe in a couple of years. I think let us explore the available grant options. Let us look at what might be possibilities. I understand that the accessibility is a critical issue. It's both a practical issue for a lot of people for the reasons I said. You or a loved one won't be able to fully access the building, but it's also a very symbolic issue. There's no less welcoming space than to come into a building that not everyone can come into. And so we need to live our words of being a welcoming congregation by making sure it is truly open to everyone. So I think we all recognize the importance of it. We just have to balance that with our financial needs. Let us explore a few options. A year from now, we may come back and say, look, we've looked, there are no grants available. We're going to have to do a major capital fundraiser around this, but let's see what the options are first. Yeah.
Are there any concerns or considerations about having handicap parking so those who have trouble accessing can?
Well, handicap parking. On the street parking, getting some, I don't know that we've ever explored that. Certainly would be okay. I don't know what the rules are around that. I assume that's something with the Department of Transportation. You have to get the special signage, but if that might be something worth exploring. Sure, that sounds like a good idea. Yes, Scott?
You working at a sign for this is where accessories should stop. So that might also be helpful.
Okay. All right. That's a good suggestion. Yeah. Thank you for both of. Yes, Steve.
Who owns that parking lot where some Orthodox groups have?
Oh, that's. Is that Toro, Andy? The parking lot, Andy. The parking lot is Toro owns that. Yeah, Toro. And we have tried many times to talk to them about doing things together. They actually benefited right from the rezoning, even though they didn't participate in the process, despite our entreaties to do that. We actually approached them about space when we thought we were moving out. We've never really had good luck with them in terms of partnering with them. But yes, that's their space. Anything, Stephanie? Other things here? Did you have Rochelle? Yeah.
I go to all the WOCO meetings, and we had a few women come in with their children, and young, and that's very unusual because we changed the name from Sisterhood to WOCO because Sisterhood is a bunch of old biddies. So this is Women's Connection, and we get more people, and these ladies that came from the Forest Hills Jewish Center. They said the rabbi is awful.
Oh, well, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. They came from the Jewish Center, okay.
No, that's why they came here.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that. They came from the Jewish Center for whatever reason they came. Yes, I mean, we have been benefited. I think the religious school has had actually a number of families that have come from the Jewish Center, but from wherever, and we've had a lot of growth in that area. One of the things that you see at 7 o'clock services is a lot more younger families. I think that's great. The rabbi was talking before about attracting younger couples. Sometimes younger couples end up being couples that have children. And so that would be great too. So yes, that's a priority. And one of the reasons we are so confident that we can continue to have such wonderful membership growth is that we have a very strong religious school. And typically, not always, but typically families that start with us in religious school stay with us through at least the B'nai Mitzvah time. And so that's a very encouraging sign for the continued growth of the community to have that religious school. But yes, we always want to do things that attract young people. I think there's been also a lot more people at the Tat Shabbat and the Temple Tots. So that also is very encouraging for future growth. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the question was about attracting younger families into the. How can we do that? There have been some that have come to WOCO meetings, and can we do more to get younger families here? The neighborhood's booming. There's buildings going up all over the place. You see up and down Queens Boulevard. Some of those people moving in are Jewish, hopefully. So hopefully they will be. Yeah, Rabbi?
And just to add something that Jill alluded to, but to make extra, we are having a pre-K class next year. We haven't had one in a number of years. Our religious school just started in kindergarten, and next year we've had enough interest that the pre-K will also be part of our religious school. So there's lots of openings to do it, and we welcome all of you to come join us and help find ways to make this a more engaging and accessible place. Certainly work that WOCO and the Parents Association and other groups have done to create more social, engaging activities for people to come together and just get to know each other has increased involvement from younger families, and we know that our Parents Association and WOCO and throughout the temple will continue to do that in the year to come.
Yeah, did you? Yeah.
Kind of a similar question, but are there any takeaways or key ideas you want parents, specifically in religious school, to kind of understand about the future of the congregation forward?
Well, to the extent that people were hesitant about coming here because they didn't know where their child might have their B'nai Mitzvah, you can tell them that we'll be here. I think that probably is the most significant thought on a lot of families' minds. Are you going to be here, or is it my B'nai Mitzvah going to be in some high school gym, a rickety setup or something because you're in temporary space? So that should provide a lot of reassurance. I think letting them know that you've had a great experience here and that it's a welcoming, wonderful place, whatever your beliefs, And whatever you bring from your past Jewish history, we want you here. And we are willing to work with you, to accommodate you, to make you feel a part of our community. And we're open to new ideas. If there's things we're not doing, projects we're not having, programs that we should be pursuing, we want to hear about it, and we'd love to be able to do that. So I think all of that should hopefully give people confidence that coming here, they'll be welcomed and in a wonderful place. Yeah, did you? Yeah. Yeah.
We had a booth at the Washington Street event.
Yeah.
How was that received?
So I wasn't there. Was anybody work on at the street fair you're talking about? That was what, I guess in April. Do you know? Oh, it's coming up. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah. So we have a table, right? That's what. Okay, I got confused on the dates. I'm sorry. So yes, June 8th. We always do well in terms of interest. I think the one that actually does a little better, they do those twice a year, and the September one, depending on how it falls with Rosh Hashanah, is often a more active one because there are people who are looking at that point at the last minute for where to go for the holidays or where to enroll the children in school. Still always get some interest, and we always have a presence, but it's, I think, particularly valuable in the fall because that's when people's mindset is more about joining a temple if you're not a member of one. Yeah, Rabbi?
I want to add to Michael's question. I think a takeaway is that through all the craziness, COVID and the pandemic and moving online and religion not necessarily being at everyone's top priority and changes in the neighborhood and everything going on in the world, we have remained a stable, vibrant, welcoming community. And now we know our stability in our building as well. And I think that's the takeaway, that we're here. We've continued to weather all storms, and it's thanks to everybody here and so many others that we've been able to do. It's really our whole community, every person, and that's the takeaway, and that we're trying new things and growing and adding, and that's thanks to many of you have brought these ideas and energy and commitment and generosity of time to do it, and that's the real takeaway, that we are continuing to grow and expand and find new ways to connect to people. And we hope every year that'll just keep growing and growing and growing and making us the most vibrant, accessible, welcoming, Jewish spiritual place for every family to be part of.
Okay, amen to that. Other questions, Stephanie? That's a wonderful note to end on. Oh, so you voted, hopefully. So Andy, you want to give us the vote, the tally?
So the vote is 58 in favor of the slate, 3 illegible, 0 against.
Okay, great. Okay. So I'll just say in closing that it's an honor to be the president. I look forward to another year. I'm sure there will be points in the year ahead that we will all regret. You and I will both regret that I'm doing it again. But it's an honor to be the president and have the privilege of leading the congregation in the year ahead. So thank you very much. We wish you all a wonderful summer if I don't see you.
We're all Jewish. You should be doing this over cookies in the ballroom. Apparently the food has been put away, so stay here and keep talking.